I stayed soft on purpose, even when the world wanted hard, even when strength meant aggression. I chose empathy, vulnerability was a weapon I refused to disarm. I felt everything fully and refused to apologize for it. Softness isn't weakness, it's conscious resistance to callousness, to cruelty, to the cold logic of survival. I stayed open where others closed. Listen when others shouted, being tender in a rough world is a declaration of intent. I didn't harden for protection, I softened for understanding. I let tears, doubts and questions shape me instead of shame. People called it naive, they called it fragile, I call it deliberate, because strength isn't always loud. I stay soft even when rejected, even when betrayed. Softness teaches patience, softness preserves vision. I learned how to survive without losing touch with humanity. I stayed soft on purpose, and it became my armor. I stay soft on purpose, not because I'm weak, I stay soft intentionally, cause being real is peak, get it peep. I stay soft on purpose, not because I'm weak, I stay soft intentionally, cause being real is peak. I didn't measure myself by others' definitions of strength, I measured by resilience, by honesty with myself. Softness allowed reflection, allowed repair, it allowed me to choose rather than react. I stayed soft on purpose, and it changed everything. Not everyone understood, not everyone had his softness. Doesn't need applause, it survives quietly, and that's enough, no apology. I stay soft on purpose, 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 not because I'm weak, I stay soft intentionally, cause being real is peak. Yeah, I wrote pain before it paid rent, before feedback felt relevant, when truth was heavy and inconvenient, and silence felt more intelligent. I had bars that didn't fit platforms, thoughts too sharp for timelines. Learn early, if it heals you, it probably won't headline. They monetize personality, I document in reality. Stay broke but mentally free, that's a trade nobody teaches me. I watched honesty get rebranded, truth shortened for retention. I kept mine raw and uninterrupted, yeah, that was my quiet rebellion. These words were never monetized, still cost me sleep, still cost me time. If nobody hears, I'm still alive. These words were never monetized. I don't chase dreams, I chase alignment. Peace over placement. Always some verses pull me off ledges, others reminding me why I stayed. I'd rather be misunderstood than understood for the wrong reason. Relevance fades with seasons, integrity doesn't need one. These words were never monetized. These words were never monetized. These words were never. These words were never monetized. These words were never monetized. Ghosts don't argue online, they don't need opinions. opinions, they show up when the screen goes dark. Past decisions as witnesses, they don't care who won debates or who look confident. They only ask the questions you avoided when it mattered most. I can explain myself to strangers, still lie to myself at night. External noise feels manageable, internal truth wants a fight. Ghosts remember tone and silence, not the stories you rewrite. They know who you were becoming before you learn how to hide. I scroll to escape my thoughts, but thoughts learn how to scroll too. They don't need likes or replies, they just sit there and watch you. Every what if opens doors I tried to brick shut. I closed 1,000 apps, still couldn't close what I've done. Ghosts don't rush their time, and they're patient by design. They wait until the room is empty and the mask falls behind. No comments, no reaction buttons, just eye contact with regret. They ask for questions softly, that's how they make you sweat. Ghosts don't argue online, they wait when it's quiet. They don't need your attention, they already know where you hide it. I learned not every battle is public, some are fought to stay sane, and the hardest conversations happen without names. I stopped drowning them in noise, stop muting the truth. If you don't listen to silence, it will come back louder than you. I don't fear my ghosts anymore, I learned what they're for. They're reminders of growth, not punishments I ignore. They don't want apologies, they want honesty lived. Ghosts don't argue online, they just check if you did. When the lights go out, they're still here. Not to remind. I grew out of noise in crowded rooms, out of forced conversations, out of chasing relevance, just to feel temporary validation. I used to think loud meant important, that presence had to be seen. Then I realized peace doesn't announce itself, it just quietly breathes. I watch arguments repeat themselves, same points, different names. Everybody fighting to be heard, nobody changing their ways. I step back, not out of fear, but out of clarity. Not every space deserves your energy, not every voice deserves reaction from me. I grew out of explaining myself, out of defending my tone. If someone wants to misunderstand you, they'll do it no matter how much you show. I learned growth sounds boring to people who live off distraction. They confuse chaos with passion and peace with lack of ambition. I stopped arguing with opinions, started listening to patterns. Most people don't want truth, they want comfort that flatters. I outgrew the need to convince, outgrew the hunger for proof. If I know who I am when it's quiet, I don't need noise to feel true. I grew out of noise, out of talking just to talk, out of being everywhere, I chose where to walk. I grew out of noise, not people, perspective. Some exits aren't losses, they're corrected. I grew out of noise, out of talking just to talk, out of being everywhere, I chose where to walk. I grew out of noise, not people, perspective. Some exits aren't losses, they're corrective. Silence started sounding like clarity, less clutter, more sense. I learned how to hear my instincts once the crowd was absent. Not every thought needs sharing, not every win needs a post. Some things lose their meaning once you expose them the most. They say you change, I say I refine. Same core, less reaction, better control of my time. I don't miss being loud and lost, I don't miss forced excitement. I grew with no intention and not a pointless alignment. If quiet scares you, you're not listening yet. I grew out of noise and finally met myself. I grew out of noise, I grew out of noise.
I don't miss the person I pretended to be, just to fit spaces I outgrew. Smiling through conversation that felt dishonest and untrue. I bent my tone, adjusted language, shrank thoughts to be accepted. I confused being included with being respected. I wore versions that were mine, mistook tolerance for connection. Every laugh felt slightly forced, every silence felt like tension. I was present but not aligned, known but not seen. It's exhausting being understood for someone you've never been. I stopped performing peace for people who fed on chaos. Stopped calling compromise growth when it of self-loss. I learned some rooms only love you as long as you don't change. The moment you grow a backbone, they call it strange. I don't miss explaining myself to people committed to misunderstanding. I don't miss editing my thoughts just to keep conversation standing. I lost access to certain circles but gained something real instead. I finally met myself once the pretending ended. I don't miss the person I pretended to be. That role was heavy on me. I lost approval, gained clarity. That's a trait I repeat. Letting go felt lonely at first, like cutting off oxygen. Then I realized how much energy went into maintaining the image. I breathe better now. Move slower, speak less. Not because I'm hiding, because I don't need to. And plus I don't hate who I was back then. I understand why I tried. Survival teaches you camouflage before it teaches you pride. But I don't miss that version of me. I thank them and move on. They kept me alive long enough to become someone strong. No regret, no regret, no regret. Just relief, just relief, just relief. No regret, no regret, no regret, no regret. Just relief, just relief, just relief.
I talk better when nobody listens. No performance, no role. No need to simplify my thoughts to keep someone involved. Honesty comes out cleaner when there's no one to impress. I don't have to decorate, paint, or explain why it exists. I know this truth changes shape when the naughties arrive. You start editing yourself before you even realize. So I learned to speak privately, to hear what I actually mean. Silence gave me better conversations than most people ever did. I used to over-explain feelings, try to be clearly understood. Then I realized some people listen only to respond, not to look. So I pull my thoughts inward, let them finish they form. Some truths need isolation before they strong enough to perform. When nobody's waiting for words, you stop lying to survive. You don't say what sounds acceptable, you say what's alive. I found more clarity in journals than in rooms full of sound. Turns out honesty hates crowds, it prefers being found. I talk better when nobody listens. No fear of being wrong. My voice sounds real when it doesn't have to belong. I talk better when nobody listens. I talk better when nobody listens. I talk better. I talk better. I talk better. I don't confuse being heard with being understood. Some people hear everything and still miss what they should. So I speak less, choose words carefully, let meaning stretch. If someone really wants to hear you, they'll meet you in the depth. I stopped broadcasting my pain, started processing it slow. Some healing happens privately, away from the public glow. I talk better when nobody listens. That's how I learned to stay true. The clearest voice I ever found was the one I used alone in a room. No echo needed, just honest. I talk better when nobody listens. No fear of being wrong. My voice sounds real when it doesn't have to belong. I talk better when nobody listens. I talk better when nobody listens. I talk better. I talk better when nobody listens.
Heavy thoughts like wallet, mind rich, pocket starving. I pay rent with patience, bought time with exhaustion. I watch talent rot in comfort, watch hunger sharpen focus. When you got nothing to lose, you stop fearing to notice. I learned how value gets measured wrong, likes instead of longevity. Everybody chasing shortcuts, calling luck a strategy. I stay broke but honest. That balance caught me sleep. Some nights well felt imaginary, but self-respect stayed cheap. Self-respect stayed cheap. Yeah. I passed on deals that felt hollow, promises dressed like hell. I saw too many sell their voice, then try to buy back themselves. Money's loud when it enters out, silent when it leaves. I trusted discipline over hope and habits over dreams. I stretched weeks into months into survival years. Paid dues with consistency, not applause or peers. Heavy thoughts keep me grounded. Light wallet kept me awake. Struggle taught me patience. Ways comfort, never could fake. Heavy thoughts, light wallet. Still rich where it counts. I might lag numbers, but I own my amounts. Heavy thoughts like wallet. Still rich where it goes. Heavy thoughts like wallet. Heavy thoughts like wallet. Heavy thoughts like wallet. I don't glamorize poverty, I just refuse to lie. Struggle isn't aesthetic, it's pressured every right your mind. I learned how to move quiet, plan deep, speak less. When money's thin, character gets stress tested. If wealth comes later, fine. If now, I'm still aligned. I didn't sell my future to afford peace of mind. Heavy thoughts made me careful, light wallet made me real. The combination built the spine that money can't steal. Still here, still honest.
This isn't depression, it's memory, stored emotion with no release. Past moments that never got closure, still asking for peace. I don't wake up sad for no reason, I wake up informed. My mind replays chapters that never got resolved. People say move on casually like memory has legs, like you can outrun what shaped your head. I learned some pain doesn't fade, it integrates, becomes background noise that calibrates. Function fine, I laugh, I worked, I live, but some nights the past still wants to visit, not to hurt me, to be acknowledged. Unprocessed moments don't disappear, they just get quiet. I don't confuse sadness with weakness or reflection with decay. Some thoughts are just old wounds I haven't revisited in years. This isn't me breaking down, it's remembering shape. I carry history correctly, not in shame. This isn't depression, it's memory. Still on the scenes, not stuck in the past, just fluent in what's been. This isn't depression, it's memory. Still on the scenes, not stuck in the past, just fluent in what's been. I learned to live with it, not cure it. Some things aren't as easy to evidence. Memory keeps me honest, prevents repetition. It reminds me why boundaries aren't superstition. I don't wanna forget everything. Some pain earned its place, it made me cautious, it gave me pace. This isn't depression, it's history retained. I'm not broken, I'm trained. Memory is an illness, it's record.
Outgrew the room before anyone noticed. Energy shifted, walls got smaller, conversations felt shallow, laughs felt rehearsed. I stayed too long for comfort, waited too much for connection. Then I realized growth has a volume, some rooms just can't contain it. I watch people cling to patterns, resist change politely. I outgrew tolerance for excuses, for surface level honesty. I stopped shrinking to fit space and started stretching in the air. If my presence felt different, that wasn't my problem. Doors I once ran ran through became corridors of confinement. Familiar faces turned familiar weights, voices repeated in echo chambers. I didn't leave with anger, I left with awareness. Some departures aren't losses, they're reallocation of energy. I outgrew expectations, conversations I once valued. Not everyone grows the same speed. In some environments, unsuitable distances and punishment. It's clarity, I move with space matches growth, not nostalgia. I outgrew the room, not the people inside. I needed air, not approval. Needed space to decide. I outgrew the room, not the people inside. I needed air, not approval. Needed space to decide. I became uncomfortable in comfort safe zones. Turned cages, I stopped excusing stagnation. Started choosing expansion, people called it distance. I called it alignment. I outgrew the room and found the world. Some relationships fade quietly, not with explosions. I respect those who stay, even if I had to go. Growth isn't loud, it's inevitable. And the room you outgrow will never apologize. No bitterness, no bitterness. Just elevation.
Nobody claps for discipline. No one cheers quiet consistency. Early mornings, late nights, no camera, no followers. They celebrate the result, not the repetitive grind. Every small choice that kept me upright, when unnoticed, underrated. I learned routine is lonely, structure is invisible. Nobody posted about my focus, nobody rewarded restraint. I celebrated silently, track wins privately. Discipline isn't performative, it's survival in slow motion. Skip temptation daily, ignore the applause of short-term gain. Every delayed gratification builds a spine that wouldn't bend. They only see the trophy, not the struggle behind the frame. But the grind teaches patience, the silence teaches strength. I don't need recognition for repetition, I need results to justify effort. Nobody claps for habit, but habit is what survives. I learned satisfaction comes quietly from showing up when it hurts. Consistency built me long before anyone noticed. Nobody claps for discipline, but it makes a difference. I don't need applause, I need persistence. Nobody clap for discipline, but it makes a difference. I don't need applause, I need persistence. Nobody clap for discipline. Some people chase excitement, confuse noise with achievement. I master restraint while they sought entertainment. Discipline isn't glamorous, but it's durable. It's a shield when chaos comes a path, when distraction tempts. I don't brag about my limits, I respect them. Nobody sees the accumulation, only the outcome. But discipline rewards quietly, always in the people who last understand what it took. No crowd needed. Nobody clap for discipline. Nobody clap for discipline. Nobody clap for discipline. Nobody clap for discipline. Yeah, scars don't need explanation. They already told their story in blood and time and consequence, not in captions of glory. I don't know context for damage. I barely survive. If you haven't lived through the fire, you don't get to define it. I got tired of translating pain into something acceptable. Some experiences are meant to sound less enraging. No one meant to mark you. Change how you move. Scars aren't decorations, they're proof. I learned people love results, but fear the process that makes them. They want the ill version of you, not the version that's breaking. So I stop explaining the past, stop making it neat. If you don't understand my silence, you wouldn't understand what it took to keep it. Scars don't beg for sympathy, they don't ask to be seen. They just exist on the body like reminders of where you've been. Every one of mine taught me something I couldn't learn safely. Some lessons only arrive when comfort leaves you completely. Scars don't need explanation, they speak without sound. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't now. Scars don't need explanation, they speak without sound. If you know, you stop reopening wounds just to make others comfortable. My pain is in the conversation starter of something consumable. Healing isn't about sharing everything, it's about choosing what stays. Some scars are private landmarks on a long and turn away. I don't hide them out of shame, I hide them out of respect for the version of me that survived what I don't need to recollect. Scars don't need explanation, they already earned a place. They taught me how to stand solid without having to say.
Silence, watch me work in the background. No witnesses, no sound. Years went by without feedback. Still I stay profound. I invested time, nobody noticed. Energy with no return. While others cashed in on moments, I was busy letting bridges burn. I learned fast at quiet costs, when nobody's checking on you. Motivation had to come from inside, cause external never came through. I stayed building when it felt pointless, stayed moving when it felt dumb. If patience had a payroll system, I'd be owed more than some. Yeah. Silence funded my discipline, paid me in delayed results. Yeah. No mentors, no safety nets, just pressure testing my faults. I learned structure from isolation, focus from being ignored. When nobody expected anything, I surprised myself even more. They talk about overnight success, like nights weren't years combined. I spent seasons questioning value, trying not to lose my mind. Every day without validation, built something solid in me. Silence didn't cheer, but it forced accountability. Yeah. Silence owed me money, years I worked and paid. I stay consistent in the dark, while others needed praise. Silence owes me money, interest building time. I paid in patience and belief. Yeah, still waiting on mine. Yeah. I watched people quit when claps disappeared, when progress stayed invisible. I learned how to move without witnesses, how to stay driven off principle. Silence sharpened my awareness, taught me what matters most. When nobody's watching your effort, you find out who you were close. Yeah. I don't resent the quiet now, it showed me what I'm worth. Anybody loud can feel important, if you can survive the absence first. Yeah. If silence had a conscience, it probably nod in respect, cause I stayed when quitting felt logical, and that's a debt it hasn't checked. Yeah. Silence didn't pay cash, but it paid me control. Still, silence owed me money.
Yeah. True sounds better unreleased when nobody polishes it for likes. Raw edges, unfiltered thought, authenticity that nobody spikes. I watch polished versions dominate, filter pain in 1080p, but real truth don't need perfection, they breathe in reality. I kept lines in notebooks, spit verses in rooms empty. Nobody needed to hear it, but it needed to exist. Some ideas are sacred until exposure. Truth is I'm released, truth is gravity. Even silence respects its weight. I learned early that exposure can twist meaning into fashion. What felt sacred turns consumable, turns trending, loses passion. So I held my voice close, recorded it, never uploaded. I preserved essence over fame, substance over clout. Truth is dangerous when pilots say digestible, easily sold. The raw version can cut, can sting, can linger. I prefer my messages sharp, not diluted for convenience. So releases honesty intact, not reshaped for the audience convenience. Truth sounds better unreleased, pure in its way. No reactions, no metrics, just resonance that waits. I've seen people chase validation for lines that should have stayed private. Truth isn't a trend, it doesn't need to thrive. I keep what matters offline, guarded from casual scrolls. Some lessons only live where attention cannot touch. Harmless words are alive, they breathe without spectacle. They haunt less and teach more, they sharpen without applause. Truth sounds better unreleased because it stays real when nobody else tries to define it. No stage, it's essence.
Stage. Yeah, still here. No headline, no press, no trending tag, no highlight reel, no trophy case. Just another day that didn't brag. I survived quiet wars, fought battles no one knew. Still standing, still learning, still breathing, still true. Yeah. The world didn't notice my wins, ignore resilience in plain sight. Nobody made it a story, nobody tweeted my fights, but I kept moving, kept putting pieces together. Even when the crowd disappeared, I trusted myself forever. I learned to exist without applause, to measure value internally. No external validation, just survival and clarity. Some achievements are invisible, some victories never seen, but they matter anyway, they shape what I mean. Still here without recognition, still here without credit. Some people chase headlines, I chase consistency instead. Quiet endurance isn't flashy, but it's unbreakable. And that's a headline no one can never take. Still here, no headline, but I survived every line. No spotlight, no stories, just presence through the grind. I watch people rise fast and fall faster in the glow. I learned patience is real power, consistency only show. No one documents the daily fight, the small choices, the resilience. But I lived it, felt it, built it, no applause, still brilliance. I don't need acknowledgement, I know what I overcame. I'm still here, unshaken, even when nothing's named. No headline can capture the weight of quiet survival. Still here, and that's enough. No spotlight, just proof. Just proof. Confidence wasn't handed to me, it grew and nobody looked. No witnesses, no countdown, no guidebook. I learned belief doesn't announce itself, it shows up when needed. Built slowly in empty rooms where doubt was undefeated. I didn't feel strong saying it out loud, I felt strong proving it daily. Confidence built quiet, so it wouldn't depend on applause to save me. I trusted actions over affirmations, routine over hype. If nobody knew what I was building, that meant it was mine. And it was mine. And it was but it was mine. I watched loud confidence collapse fast once attention moved away. Turns out volume was doing the lifting, not what they had to say. So I stay low, stay patient, let consistency talk. You learn real belief doesn't rush in, doesn't need to walk in talking, doesn't need to walk in talking, doesn't need to walk in talking. I stopped announcing goals, stopped promising results. I worked in silence long enough to hear my own thoughts. Confidence doesn't come from winning once, it comes from showing up again. From not quitting on yourself when there's no reward in the
find my voice. I earn my poise. Confidence built quiet, no noise. I didn't find my voice. I earn my poise. I don't flex growth anymore, I respect it. It took too much pressure to form for me to neglect it. I know what I can handle now because I already did. Confidence isn't hope, it's memory of what you lived. I don't need validation to feel grounded. I feel it when I breathe. Confidence built quiet means it doesn't leave. When belief leaves, it's not loud, it's reliable. Not flashy but true. I don't need to prove myself, I already know what I can do. No announcement. Just stability.
I wasn't raised by comfort, I was shaped by indifference. Cold responses, closed doors, and learning self-reliance. Nobody rushed to save me, nobody checked my pace. So I learned how to stand upright in an uncaring place. I grew thick-skinned before confidence, patience before belief. Every time I wasn't chosen, something stronger replaced relief. I learned the world doesn't know you warmth, it barely notices pain. So I stopped waiting for empathy and built strength in the rain. Being ignored teaches structure, teaches how to self-regulate. When nobody expects results, you find out what you'll tolerate. I built discipline out of absence, focus out of neglect. Every time nobody showed up, I learned to self-respect. They talk about trauma like currency, I talk about pressure as form. Some people break underweight, others get rebuilt and reborn. I didn't grow because it was easy, I grew because nothing cared. That's the difference between entitlement and knowing you're prepared. I was built from what didn't care. Cold lessons, open air, no safety net, no repair. I was built from what didn't care. I don't romanticize struggle, I respect what it made. It stripped illusions from my thinking and left something unafraid. If I stand solid today, it's not luck, it's design. I was forged where comfort failed and excuses couldn't survive. Some people need encouragement, I needed resistance. Every unanswered prayer sharpened my persistence. I don't hate the world for being cold, that cold taught me how to move. I was built from what didn't care, and that's why I'm unbreakable too. No bitterness, just structure.
Nothing viral about survival. No aesthetic for staying sane. Nobody reposts discipline or waking up still in pain. They celebrate breakthroughs loudly, ignore the years you bled. Love the finish line story, hate the part where you almost quit instead. I watch people chase visibility, confuse noise with being seen. I was learning how to breathe properly in places I shouldn't have been. Survival taught me pacing, not every day needs a win. Some days success looks like not letting the darkness in. I stay consistent without proof, without a crowd to impress. No comments telling me keep going, just pressure testing my stress. I learned hunger doesn't motivate, it educates. Shows you exactly what matters when comfort evaporates. Nobody filmed the nights I had to talk myself down. No one clapped for restraint, for not self-destructing now. Survival isn't cinematic, it's repetitive and dull, but it builds something durable when everything else feels null. Nothing viral about survival, no applause when you endure. Still the realest thing I did was make it through and sure. Nothing viral about survival, no trending victory. Just staying here another day, quietly. I don't envy fast success anymore, I respect longevity. Anyone can shine briefly, few maintain integrity. Survival taught me patience, taught me what not to chase. I don't need the world to notice as long as I'm in a stable place. If you never had to save yourself, you might not understand. Survival rewires your priority, changes how you stand. Nothing viral about survival, but it's the reason I'm still here, and that's worth more than attention ever will be to me. No highlight reel, just breath after breath. Nothing viral about survival. Survival.
Yeah. Yeah. Life asked questions early, I answered them too late. Confidence came after damage, wisdom showed up post-pain. I misunderstood time and thought rushing in control. Turns out clarity has a schedule, you can't force a fold. I say yes when I meant no, stay quiet when I should speak. Learn lessons years after they were trying to reach me. Life doesn't repeat itself loudly, it whispers then moves on. If you miss it the first time, it comes back heavier and calm. I thought growth was acceleration, turns out it's patient refine. You don't outrun consequences, they age like wine in your mind. Every delay realization left a mark on my frame. Some answers only arrive after you're not the same. I reply late to self-respect, late to boundaries too. Gave time to things that drain me and none of what was true. Life doesn't punish ignorance, it just invoices later. And interest is brutal when maturity shows up as the creditor. But honest ones, but I answer right. Honest ones, but I answer right. Honest ones, but I answer right. But honest ones, I stopped blaming the question, started studying my delay. While I avoided reflection, why I chose comfort that decayed. Some growth looks like regret, some clarity hurts to hold. But I'd rather answer late with truth than early with something sold. Life still sends messages daily, I read them more carefully now. I don't rush to respond anymore, I sit with them and bail. Late replies taught me presence, taught me not to pretend. I may be behind schedule, but I finally understand. Life asked, I answer late, but I answer real. Yeah, but I answer right. But honest ones, but I answer right. But honest ones, but I answer right. But honest ones,
my peace looks like distance, not anger, not hate, just space between me and what drains me daily. I used to explain exits, write paragraphs for closure. Now I leave quietly and let silence do the exposure. I learned that everyone deserves access to my inner state. Some people don't want closeness, they want proximity without weight. Distance isn't punishment, it's maintenance. Sometimes stepping back is the most respectful sentence. Yeah. I don't burn bridges dramatically, yeah. I just stop crossing them. I stop returning energy that never wanted balanced. And pieces in isolation is selective presence. I choose where I show up now, based on resonance. I walked away without explaining and slept better after. Not because I didn't care, but because I finally mattered. Distance taught me self-respect. Without confrontation, not every ending needs words, some need separation. Yeah. My peace looks like distance, not silence out of spite. Yeah. Just choosing myself without starting a fight. I don't chase closure anymore, I accept patterns instead. People tell you everything you need to know, but what they do, not what they said. This distance gave me perspective, helped me hear myself think. When you step back far enough, you see what's really weak. I'm still kind, still human, just harder to access. Peace taught me boundaries are a form of self-address. My peace looks like distance, and that distance keeps me whole. No anger, just space. No anger, just space.
No manual, no warning signs, just impact after impact. Pain didn't ask permission, it taught by contact. I didn't get lessons in advance, just consequences first. Some people learn through guidance, I learned through worse. Nobody explained emotional debt or how silence compounds. I learned by losing sleep, by breaking down. Pain never slowed to teach me, it dragged me forward. Understanding came late after damage was recorded. I didn't Google resilience, I lived it. Didn't read about endurance, I built it. Every scar came with context, every mistake with weight. You learn fast when the price is your mental state. Pain taught me boundaries, taught me timing, taught me who disappears when life stops shining. I didn't romanticize trauma, I analyzed it, turned suffering into structure so I wouldn't repeat it. I learned pain without the tools. No step by step, just pressure and mistakes I couldn't reset. I learned pain without the tools. No step by step, just pressure and mistakes. No step by step, just pressure and mistakes I couldn't reset. I learned pain without the tools. No step by step, just pressure and mistakes. I don't envy easy paths, I respect endurance. Pain stripped illusions, left me with assurance. I know how I respond when things fall apart. That's knowledge you don't get from a chart. Pain didn't make me bitter, it made me precise. Taught me when to hold back and when to fight. I learned pain without the squads, but I learned it well. I survived lessons most people couldn't tell. No instructions, just experience. Just experience.